The Galactic Council had been convened for over 1,000 years, a coalition of ancient species, each with its own millennia-old history of peace, power, and discovery. When humanity, a species of hairless primates from a small, seemingly insignificant planet in a distant star system, first made contact with the Council, the members viewed them with a mix of curiosity and dismissal. After all, humanity was new to the galactic stage, and their technology was primitive compared to the ancient civilizations that had already colonized vast swathes of the galaxy. However, the Council had learned long ago not to underestimate any species. Yet they could not have anticipated just how quickly the humans would make their presence known. At first, the humans had no grand ambitions. They were explorers, scientists, and diplomats, seeking to establish peaceful relations with the other species of the galaxy. They lacked the advanced hyperdrive technology that enabled faster-than-light travel, relying on their crude but effective sublight propulsion systems. The first humans to join the Council were diplomats, skilled in negotiating and learning, but their physical and emotional limitations were apparent to the more advanced species around the table. The humans did not understand the subtle nuances of galactic politics. Their directness, their passion, and most importantly, their emotional volatility made their presence uncomfortable to many of the other species. The concept of peaceful dialogue with emotional beings was foreign to the cold-blooded societies that dominated the Council. But the humans, ever persistent, refused to be intimidated. They negotiated with humility but also with a relentless drive to learn, to adapt, and, most crucially, to survive. At first, their contributions were modest, joining in diplomatic negotiations, providing intelligence on the newer, uncharted territories, and offering resources to those in need. Humanity's technical prowess, although not as advanced as some, showed great promise. Their creative solutions, born from necessity on their home planet, demonstrated a capacity for ingenuity that set them apart from the more established species. In time, humans began to form alliances with less powerful races, showing kindness, resourcefulness, and loyalty, traits the more established species had long since shed. The first true test of human resilience came when a galactic economic crisis hit, destabilizing the supply chains and causing famine on several planets. In response, humanity's contribution to the crisis was not just material aid, but an innovative new form of agricultural technology that allowed the galactic economy to rebound. The technology, simple in concept but revolutionary in practice, utilized a bioengineered plant species capable of thriving in even the harshest environments. Its ability to purify air and soil revitalized entire ecosystems, saving countless lives. But it was not the technology itself that impressed the Galactic Council. It was humanity's approach to solving problems. Where others would have seen the crisis as an opportunity to profit or seize power, humans saw it as a shared challenge. Their emotional investment in solving the problems of others marked the beginning of a more complicated, more profound relationship with the Council. Humans, for all their flaws, seemed to be driven by something that transcended simple logic: compassion. Still, it was their emotions that became the focus of the Council's unease. In a galaxy where cold calculation and long-term strategy dominated decision-making, humans were an anomaly. Their passionate nature was both their greatest strength and, at times, their greatest weakness. It was this emotional core that made them so unpredictable, and in the rigid, strategic world of the Galactic Council, unpredictability was dangerous. The first incident that truly tested the humans came at a peace summit on the neutral planet of Vashira, a place known for its serene beauty and calm atmosphere. A diplomatic delegation from the Vorthian Empire, one of the most powerful and influential species in the galaxy, had been invited to negotiate with humanity over a potential alliance. The Vorthians were a proud species, long used to their superior technology and intellectual prowess. They regarded humanity's emotional nature with condescension, seeing it as a weakness rather than a strength. Their arrogance, however, would be their undoing. The Vorthian ambassador, a towering figure of metallic blue skin and cold, calculating eyes, made the fatal mistake of insulting the humans' delegate, General Elizabeth Varco, a decorated war hero known for her fiery temperament. In a moment of misunderstanding and high tension, the ambassador mocked the humans' emotional nature, calling it primitive and a hindrance to true advancement. What followed shocked the entire room. Elizabeth Varco, whose patience had already been stretched thin by the Vorthian's condescension, did something no one expected. She punched the ambassador, sending him sprawling across the marble floors of the diplomatic hall. It was a simple act of violence, but it was a message. The humans were not to be underestimated. The room fell silent. The Vorthians, once proud and dismissive, recoiled in shock. But it was not the punch itself that struck terror into the heart of the council. It was the fury in Varco's eyes, the unyielding strength in her posture, and the raw energy that crackled through the room. In that moment it became clear, humans, when angered, were not just unpredictable. They were a force to be reckoned with. The council's response was swift. While the incident itself was quickly contained, the repercussions echoed through the galactic halls. The Vorthians demanded retribution, but more important was the fear that began to take root in the hearts of the other species. If the humans could erupt in such a violent, emotional outburst over a mere insult, what would happen if they were truly pushed to their limits? Could humanity, in its passionate rage, shatter the delicate balance the council had worked so hard to maintain? And so, the first whispers began. The Galactic Council, though silent in their deliberations, would never again look at humanity the same way. They had begun to realize something far more terrifying than the threat of war. When humans were angry, the consequences could be catastrophic. The diplomatic incident on Vashira had sent shockwaves through the Galactic Council, but nothing had prepared them for what would come next. The Vorthian ambassador's insult, though a simple act of provocation, had unintentionally triggered something in humanity. A fierce, undying spirit that could not be quelled by mere words. What was once seen as a passing moment of rage had begun to reveal humanity's true potential. But it was a potential that terrified the galaxy. In the weeks following the incident, the Vorthians demanded swift justice. Their pride had been wounded, and they sought to show the galaxy that no species, least of all the humans, could challenge their superiority. The Council, still reeling from the implications of the Vashira debacle, deliberated carefully. They knew that humbling the humans could be dangerous, but they also feared the implications of not addressing the issue. It was the perfect storm of ego and fear that no one, not even the most seasoned diplomats, had anticipated. The Vorthians' retaliation came swiftly. They dispatched a fleet of warships to the human homeworld, Earth, under the pretext of an official reprimand. Their mission was to show force, to intimidate, and to remind humanity of their place in the galaxy. But the Vorthians, blinded by their arrogance, underestimated the one thing that had set humanity apart from every other species: the human resolve. General Elizabeth Varco, now a revered figure after the Vashira incident, was appointed to lead Earth's defense. She knew the Vorthians were coming, and she knew that diplomacy, in this case, would be useless. The humans had made their point, but the Vorthians, as expected, had not learned their lesson. Varco's orders were clear: prepare for a confrontation. When the Vorthian fleet entered Earth's solar system, it found itself facing a far more formidable force than they had expected. The humans, though technologically less advanced, had been quietly preparing. Their ingenuity, honed by centuries of struggle and innovation, had turned their relatively primitive fleet into a razor-sharp instrument of war. The Vorthian ships, sleek and powerful, seemed unbeatable. But humanity had something they did not: an unyielding determination, a collective will that made them unpredictable and dangerous. The first battle took place near the asteroid belt. The Vorthians, confident in their superior firepower, opened fire, expecting the humans to crumble before their might. But General Varco had anticipated this. Instead of fighting on the terms the Vorthians expected, humanity fought with unconventional tactics. Hitting the Vorthian ships from angles no one thought possible, using gravity wells and asteroid fields to mask their movements, and employing coordinated strikes that were erratic, chaotic, and yet devastatingly effective. The Vorthian fleet was thrown into disarray. Their ships, designed for direct confrontation, were ill-equipped to handle the unpredictable and relentless attacks from the human forces. It wasn't just the tactical brilliance of the humans that shook the Vorthians. It was their sheer will to win. For the first time, the Vorthians found themselves outmatched by a species they had dismissed as insignificant. In the heat of the battle, General Varko's flagship, the Resolute, maneuvered into the heart of the Vorthian fleet. With precise coordination, the human forces managed to disable the flagship of the Vorthian command, sending the entire fleet into a retreat. The victory was swift and overwhelming, a crushing blow that shattered the Vorthians' reputation for invincibility. The news of the human victory spread like wildfire through the galaxy. The Vorthians, once seen as the dominant force in the region, were humiliated, and their retreat marked a defining moment for humanity. The Council was left to pick up the pieces, caught between awe and fear. They had hoped to keep the humans in check, but now humanity had proven that they were not just an emerging power. They were a force that could no longer be ignored. The Galactic Council, now deeply divided, began to realize the full extent of humanity's power. The humans had demonstrated something far more dangerous than military prowess, a level of emotional depth that could fuel their most destructive tendencies. Anger, when harnessed by humanity, became a weapon of unimaginable force. But unlike other species, whose motivations were driven by logic or calculation, humans fought with a fierce, unrelenting passion that could not be easily extinguished. The Council, once uncertain about humanity's place in the galaxy, now faced an uncomfortable truth. If they angered humanity again, the consequences could be catastrophic. The delicate balance of power they had carefully constructed over centuries was at risk, not from external forces, but from the unexpected wrath of a species they had underestimated. The victory over the Vorthians sent ripples through the galaxy, shaking the very foundations of the Galactic Council. News of humanity's unexpected and brutal retaliation spread faster than light, and with it, fear gripped the hearts of many. The Vorthians had been one of the most powerful empires in the galaxy, their fleet an intimidating symbol of dominance. Yet, in the blink of an eye, they had been forced to retreat, humbled by the humans they had so casually insulted. The Council, shaken by this unforeseen display of force, knew they had to act quickly to address the growing concern over humanity's emotional volatility. The Council's chambers were filled with heated debate. Representatives of the more established species, those who had long held sway over galactic affairs, argued that humanity's actions could not be ignored. To some, the humans' victory was a testament to their potential, a sign that they could be molded into a powerful ally. But others saw humanity's unchecked aggression as a dangerous, destabilizing force. The question on everyone's mind was the same. How could the galaxy coexist with a species that could explode into violence at a moment's notice? In an emergency session, the Council was forced to confront the growing fear that humanity, if provoked again, could ignite a war that would tear apart the fragile peace that had reigned for centuries. The issue wasn't just humanity's ability to fight. No, it was their unpredictability. Their willingness to act on raw emotion, driven by something deeper than logic, had made them a force that could not be controlled or reasoned with. How do we ensure that they never again threaten the stability of the galaxy? Asked a representative from the Erythians, a species known for their calculated, logical approach to diplomacy. We cannot afford to let their temper control the future of the Council. The SYX, a race of insectoid diplomats, clicked nervously in their seats. We must establish boundaries, set clear rules. If the humans cannot be trusted with their emotions, they must be restrained. But not all were in agreement. The Andari, a race of telepathic beings known for their empathy, argued that humanity's actions were not born from malice, but from the depth of their emotions. They do not think as we do, said their leader, a delicate being whose translucent skin shimmered in the dim light of the chamber. Their passion drives them in ways we cannot comprehend. We must find a way to guide them, not punish them. The debate raged on for hours, with no resolution in sight. But one thing became clear: humanity was no longer just a fledgling species in the eyes of the Council. They were a wild card, a new power that could not be ignored or dismissed. The Council knew they had to either integrate humanity into the galactic fold or isolate them before they could grow too strong. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the human response to the Vorthian retreat was mixed. While many celebrated the victory as a testament to their strength, there were growing concerns about the long-term consequences. General Elizabeth Varco, now a hero to her people, understood the complexity of the situation better than most. The victory had been necessary to defend their honor, but it had also served as a wake-up call for the rest of the galaxy, and for humanity itself. In private conversations with her top advisors, Varco admitted that humanity's emotional nature could not be ignored. The Council, whether they liked it or not, would expect more from humans in the future. And she, more than anyone, understood the weight of that responsibility. They could no longer afford to be seen as unpredictable, emotional creatures driven by fury. If humanity was to survive and thrive in this galaxy, they would need to find a way to balance their passion with a more measured approach. But Varco also knew one thing for certain: humanity would never change who they were. Their emotional depth, their anger, their love, they were part of the very fabric of their being. It was what made them human, and that, for better or worse, was something the galaxy would have to learn to accept. As the Council debated humanity's place in the galaxy, the humans themselves were unaware of the storm brewing just beyond the stars. The diplomatic threads were fraying, and the time for peace would soon be tested again. And when the next challenge came, the Council would have to decide: could they control humanity, or would humanity control the galaxy? The tense atmosphere in the Galactic Council chambers had never been more palpable. For weeks, the representatives of the galaxy's most powerful species had debated the fate of humanity, and now, the decision was about to be made. The question was no longer whether humanity could be controlled. They had proven that they could not, but rather how the Council would respond to the undeniable strength the humans had demonstrated. Would they be an ally to the galaxy's older civilizations, or a threat that needed to be neutralized? In the midst of these deliberations, a new force emerged from the far reaches of the galaxy: the Zorek. A once hidden species, the Zorek were known for their brutal conquest of neighboring star systems. Lurking on the fringes of known space, their agenda was clear. They sought to expand, conquer, and dominate. They had remained largely out of the Council's sight, but the defeat of the Vorthians by the humans had caught their attention. If they could subdue humanity, they could strike fear into the entire galaxy and carve a path for themselves. The Zorek had underestimated humanity, however. Their initial probes into human space were dismissed as insignificant, and their first diplomatic envoy was met with suspicion and reluctance. The Zorek, ever brutal and forceful, grew impatient. They decided to take matters into their own hands. In the dead of night, the Zorek launched a covert attack on a strategically important human outpost on the edge of known space. The attack was swift, brutal, and unprovoked, designed to send a message to the entire galaxy that the Zorek could not be ignored. The humans, caught off guard but never unprepared, responded with lightning speed. General Elizabeth Varco, still regarded as humanity's greatest military leader, was the first to receive the distress signals. Her mind was already working as she assessed the situation. The Zorek had not just attacked, they had attacked without warning, with no clear diplomatic purpose. It was a declaration of war, and it was clear the Zorek sought to break humanity's resolve. Varco's response was immediate. She called upon every human fleet, mobilizing them for a counterattack. The message was clear: humanity would not bow to any force, no matter how powerful. With unwavering determination, the humans launched a coordinated assault, utilizing their unconventional tactics once again. The Zorek, with their superior weaponry and vast numbers, initially believed they had the upper hand. But they underestimated the human spirit and the ingenuity born of desperation. In the midst of the battle, humanity's forces fought with the same passion and ferocity they had shown against the Vorthians. They used their environment to their advantage, hiding behind asteroid fields, launching ambushes from unexpected angles, and overwhelming the Zorek with guerrilla-style tactics. The Zorek, unaccustomed to such unpredictable and relentless fighting, found themselves on the defensive. The humans, driven by an emotional resolve no alien race could understand, would not relent. As the battle wore on, the tide turned in favor of humanity. The Zorek, realizing they could not break the human spirit, attempted to retreat, but it was too late. The human fleet, relentless in their pursuit, crushed the remaining Zorek forces, forcing them to retreat into the uncharted darkness of space. In the aftermath of the battle, the Galactic Council was forced to confront the reality of what had just occurred. Humanity had not only survived, they had triumphed. The Zorek, once thought to be unstoppable, had been routed by a species still considered young in the eyes of the galaxy. The Council, though divided in their fear and admiration, understood one irrefutable truth. Humanity could no longer be ignored. The humans had proven that when pushed to the brink, they did not falter, they adapted, they fought, and they overcame. The Zorek's failure was a testament to the one thing the galaxy had underestimated: humanity's unyielding resolve. As representatives from various species gathered to discuss the future, the leader of the Andari spoke first. "We have witnessed something today that no one could have predicted. Humanity has shown us their strength, not just in battle but in spirit. We must decide how to move forward, but we must also understand that humanity has earned their place in the galaxy." The Erythian representative, once the most vocal opponent to humanity's unrestrained nature, nodded slowly. "Perhaps we were wrong to fear them. We must acknowledge their power, yes, but also their potential. This galaxy is not a place for the weak, and humanity has proven they are anything but weak." The decision was made. Humanity, while still a force to be reckoned with, would not be isolated. Instead, they would be integrated into the greater workings of the Galactic Council, with the understanding that their power, when properly guided, could become an asset to the entire galaxy. But one thing was clear: the Council had learned a valuable lesson. Never again would they make the mistake of underestimating humanity. The consequences of such a miscalculation were too great, and the strength of human resolve was a force that no one could afford to provoke again.